Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. What makes a great professional wrestler? Well, as a former full-time independent professional wrestler and someone who wrestles, every once in a while now, and as a fan of professional wrestling since I was 12 years old, I may have a good answer to this question of what makes a great wrestler. And I'm going to aim to try and break it down. I think number one is sort of the energy, the aura, or the charisma that a wrestler presents. And now this can come in many different ways. Now, if you look at someone like, Chris Benoit, for example, who had this sort of mean demeanor, this sort of quiet charisma about him, he still exuded that charisma and confidence. You look at someone like Gunther, right? He has a ton of aura, a ton of charisma, and a ton of energy, but he presents it in a way different way than someone, say, like the Ultimate Warrior does, or Macho Man Randy Savage, or Jey Uso. All of these wrestlers have different personalities, like intrinsically have different personalities, which is what you want to present as a professional wrestler, but they all have a definable charisma and energy and aura about them that can be connected to an audience. Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think, maybe said one time that he wanted to try and be himself, but he wanted to turn up the volume times 10. And I think that's an important distinction because as a professional wrestler, you are on a stage, you are in front of an audience. And so this is idea that you have to be larger than life. I mean, that's why I connected to professional wrestling and WWE when I was a young kid. I saw these characters, these performers, and they were larger than life. And I loved superheroes at the time, and I loved athletes and sports at the time. And seeing these WWE superstars was sort of a combination of all of those things. They were larger than life. I think back in the day, there were more characters than there are now. I mean, nowadays it's more of like yourself, Stone Cold Steve Austin vibe, like turned up the volume, ratcheted up the volume, so there's something to connect to. There's a vibe, there's an energy, there's an aura about you that a fan can connect to. There was much more characters back in the day. I mean, you had, The Undertaker and Doink the Clown and, Triple H's first gimmicks and Stunning Steve Austin's first gimmick, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin's first gimmick. And all of these people had to play with some characters at the beginning until they found themselves. And that's an important experiences for wrestlers to go through. You're never going to just land on something that's perfect the first time. You have to go through sort of iterations and reviews. And you have to listen to the audience. You have to feel what they feel so that you can present something that actually connects to them. Because that's going to be the number one thing that's going to make you a great wrestler is your connection to the audience. I mean, you look at Goldberg, for example, right? Just not a very good in-ring technician, but one of the most over professional wrestlers of all time. One, because he was booked really, really well, and because he had intensity and charisma and energy off the charts and used that to deeply, deeply connect with the fans. And so I think what makes a great wrestler is that energy, that aura, that vibe, which in turn connects you to the fans. That's the next step in the evolution of what makes a great wrestler is your ability to connect and listen to an audience. I mean, The Rock talks about this all the time. That's why sometimes his promos sort of go off script a little bit. Maybe he's listening or not listening at all, depending on how in the zone he is. But you have to be able to connect to an audience. You could have the greatest character, the greatest package, the greatest moveset, the greatest everything. But if no one gives a shit, and everyone sits on their hands or goes to get popcorn when you perform, then you're not really great at anything. There have been tons of great in-ring technicians that have never really moved past that line to connect with the audience, so they just maintain sort of a mid-card status. You can look at someone like Dean Malenko, like someone who's amazing in the ring, can do everything, right? Man of 1,000 holds, but never took that next step because he didn't have that deep connection with the audience. So your energy, your aura, your personality, the character you want to present, all of that is wrapped up into how can I connect deeply with the fans. Someone who does this, right, incredibly well is a Kevin Owens, right? Everyone now, young wrestlers now are like, oh, I can wear shorts and a t-shirt to the ring so I can be like Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is one of a kind. He's one of a kind. He is one of the best to ever do it because he has this ability to deeply connect with the fans. Because he presents himself, he's always been himself. He spent so much time on the independent scene and in Ring of Honor. He found out exactly who he was and who he wanted to be. And then he turned that volume up times 10 to put it on a WWE platform. And now he's able to connect with audiences all around the world. That's what you really have to be. Yes, becoming a great wrestler is also about experiencing things. It's also about discovering who you are, right? Most of us want to become professional wrestlers because we love professional wrestling and we fell in love with it. It did something to our life. We connected with someone or something at some point, and we have to make fans feel the same way about us. So what about you? What about the way you walk, the way you move, the way you pose, the way you smile, the way your eyes move, the eyebrow raise, anything that can deeply connect with a fan that says, I really, really want to watch this guy win, or I really, really want to watch this person lose. And so your energy, your charisma, your aura, your vibe translates into what your personality is that you present, or your character that you present. And then how can that deeply connect with a fan base so they want to come back and see you, or they want to follow you on social, or they want to buy your merch, or whatever the case may be. Because the best wrestlers in the world of all time are movers of tickets. They make money for the business. You might be the best in-ring technician ever existed, but if you're not drawing people into the show, if you're not selling tickets, then you're not really that good of a professional wrestler. And there are different levels to all of this. I mean, current day, the biggest ticket sale mover still to this day is Roman Reigns. Is he, the best in-ring technician of all time? No. He's gotten progressively better as a professional wrestler. He knows how to put together a main event style match, but he now has a deep connection with the fans because of what he's done with the Bloodline over the past 5 years. And now they're really invested in Roman Reigns, and anytime he's on the marquee, he draws money. And that's really important. Then, once you have those two aspects down, of course, then you need to be able to produce in the ring. Some sort of body. Now, a body doesn't mean jacked gills out of the, just ripped out of your mind. That body stuff is kind of different nowadays. You want to present what's most unique to you. I mean, you look at Gunther, for example, when he first got to WWE, he was big and large, and I thought that was a perfect body for him. Now he's gotten in really good shape, and he's a little more jacked and all of that. Look at Kevin Owens, shorts and a t-shirt, right? Look at Samoa Joe, right? There are different examples of these types of bodies that work for the professional wrestler that you're trying to represent. But you want to look like that you can beat someone up, because professional wrestling is portraying a fight. It's sports entertainment. And so you want to be able to look like you can handle business, you can beat someone up, but also that it makes sense for the personality and the character and the energy that you're trying to portray. So yes, the body is important. That presentation is important because people are going to see you maybe through a silhouette. What do you look like through a silhouette? Is there an identifiable traits and characteristics that make you stand out before you even talk or before you even move? That has something to do with your body and your presentation and your energy and your aura, and that stuff also allows you to connect deeply with the fans. Then you finally step in the ring and you have to be able to go. Now, if you just shit the bed over and over and over, then the character doesn't mean anything at that point. You have to get them invested through the character, through the energy, through the personality, the entrance, the promos, the body, the moveset, the clothing, everything. And then once you get in the ring, you have to be able to get it done. You have to be able to execute moves on a consistent basis that look legit, that look real, that suspend people's disbelief. I mean, that is a very, very important part of being a great professional wrestler, but it's not the whole piece. I mean, again, you look at someone like the Ultimate Warrior, again, was not amazing inside the professional wrestling ring, was not a technician, right? Wasn't doing arm drags and wrist locks and this and that, right? But he had such an amazing connection with the fans that when he got into the ring, he didn't have to do everything to keep them drawn in. He had a lot of fire as a babyface, right? He knew what he was doing exactly when he was doing it, similar to the Goldberg type, right? Or you can be someone like current day, right? Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles and Gunther and all of these people who have all the full package, 5-tool players, as you would say in professional baseball, but then in the ring, they also get it done. I mean, you can see the evolution of someone like The Miz, who came in with, he's always had a ton of charisma and personality, and then over time, he became a really, really, really competent professional wrestler in the ring, and it's made him, a first ballot Hall of Famer for WWE. And so, yes, you need to have that energy, that charisma, that aura, that personality, the specific character types, the look, the body, all of these things that match who you are intrinsically and who you want to turn the volume up times 10, and that deeply can connect with an audience so they really, really care about you. Then once you get in the ring, you have to be able to get it done and execute execute, so you keep those fans drawing into your matches and to all of those sorts of things. So they keep wanting to watch you wrestle and work and see the storylines that develop because of you, because you drew them in with this and you kept them here because your in-ring ability is so sharp and solid and you can execute at the highest level. So those are just a few things that I think make a great professional wrestler. I think the way you're booked is also very important, as we've seen over the history of people who've been booked really poorly and booked really good at different companies at different levels, and how that can make or break your career. That's also really important. But some of the characteristics that you can personally control as a wrestler and the fans can deeply see as a wrestler that connect to them and to you, I think those things are important. And we as fans notice that. You as wrestlers should be really honing in on that. And those are just a few things that, come to top of the mind when I think about what makes a great professional wrestler. So let me know if you agree, disagree, what your thoughts or comments are below about the whole subject of what makes a great professional wrestler. And then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.